Okay, let's get it started as people trickle in. Um, and yeah, so I guess this is the open space for Metis ambassadors that me, Prince, and Ali kicked off last week. We had Aman on, and he was here to chat with us and um, be here with us for our first Metis Ambassador space. It was actually Aman who gave us the idea to kick this off and get something like this going, and so uh, me, Prince, and Ali ran with it, and we're excited that for our second one that we have Elena here to speak with us and chat with us and say hi to the Metis community. I think it means a lot to all of us. Everybody's been so excited since you agreed to be on today, and so I know everybody here is really probably just excited. And one of the things that we wanted to just maybe ask about is we have an open discussion. This is an open space. There's not like a rigid agenda or anything like that. It's just a space for us to meet and connect with each other as Metis ambassadors, but not just the ambassadors, for the entire Metis community and anybody else who wants to join the Metis community and get on the fastest and cheapest network on Ethereum and probably in maybe in all of crypto. And so we have this just to chat about anything Metis or anything Web3 related. It's all open. Any questions? We want to use this also as a learning space and a networking space and a connection space. There's a lot of people who are just jumping into Metis and Web3, and there's a huge learning curve, as we all know. It takes a while to learn um, how to use certain dApps and use products and things like that, and then also about all the philosophical and social kind of impacts that Web3 is also having. Is something that you don't you don't just catch on to in one day. So we want to use this space to also help guide people into Metis and Web3. But with that, yeah, we don't have really a strict agenda. Last week we talked about Metis and the network and what it offers in terms of like matrix, reputation, power system, the Polis decentralized autonomous company portal, the Web 2 to Web 3 integration, the smart L2 tech, and what makes Metis the fastest and cheapest network on Ethereum. Um, and yeah, and so we talked about all that, and then talked about the Metis marathon and maybe a few other things. And hopefully down the road, eventually we'll start having projects on here to come and introduce themselves and talk about their projects, any developments, or any support they'd like from the ambassadors themselves. Yeah, and so there's a lot of things to talk about. I know, Elena, that you we had a live stream this week, a Metis live stream, and there was a lot of updates on a lot of the developments that are happening. And I know one of the things I was interested in hearing about and seeing is that your title changed to lead decentralization coordinator. So yeah, I just wanted to open it up to you, Elena, to say hi. And yeah, and anything you want to talk about.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here, guys and girls, in this space. And this is my first time here. I would like to introduce myself. So first, yes, my name is Alina Sinalikova. I am a co-founder of Metis project, and also right now my title is a DC decentralization coordinator, and about that. So you, Anthony, mentioned that we are welcoming all the community developers into our fastest and cheapest network, and I would like to say that this is not about being fastest and cheapest. This is about having grand vision of improving and helping the world, people in the world, to use all the goodies that decentralization and the blockchain and open environment can bring. And that is, so we're doing it through our DAX vision, decentralized autonomous companies. So just imagine the world where anyone can, start their own community, can start their own business, can start their own, just even something with one click of a button, and just entering this open space that is borderless, that is fair, that is transparent, and that does not have any big brothers that can prohibit or ban or stop you otherwise from doing the great stuff. So that is the vision of the entire Metis ecosystem, to build economy of the people, of businesses, of organizations, of nonprofits, all working all together. And for that vision to become reality, we needed the fastest and cheapest base and fastest and cheapest platform, and that's why we built it. So we succeeded. We actually indeed the probably the fastest right now, layer 2, and the cheapest. But again, this is not about being fastest and cheapest. This is realizing our dream further. And that's what we need ambassadors for, and that's what you guys entered the program here for, just to project it to the whole world, what we are doing, what we are accomplishing here. So it's not only the layer 2, or it's not only a DeFi, a blockchain. It's way bigger than that. So how we do that, and why my title has changed now. So we're doing it by, first of all all pieces of Metis has to be decentralized. So we remove that single point failures from all areas, starting from, of course, the technology. So the L2s, like all the L2s that exist, layer 2s, and I'm just going to be describing what is the L2 for some that maybe you don't know what it is. So layer 2 solutions is the scalability solutions for the blockchain networks. So in our instance, the Ethereum is a decentralized open blockchain network, but unfortunately, it is slow, it is expensive at times. So therefore, there are scalability solutions that are created to improve that. And this is what Meet is doing. And there are lots of other companies that came up with the versions of their solutions, L2 solutions. And, there's sort of competition that going on. But Metis business is not about competing with the layer 2 again. This is about realizing the grand vision. All layer 2s, though, they have, like, by the definition, they have single sequencer. Therefore, there is a single point of failure. It means that if the sequencer is stopped, the network basically just halted and maybe not doing anything. It doesn't mean that there is this uh, danger of funds being lost. No, it's not about that. It's just the uptime. So we would like to be always available, always working. So this layer 2, and also decentralized. It means that sequencer is not in the hands of one organization or one person. It's actually decentralized in the community, and that's what we are building. So there are multiple sequencers that actually belongs to the community, like each node, each sequencer is a computer. This computer that runs, it actually runs in the community, and they all take turns when creating a record. So that is decentralization. It means that it cannot be stopped, or it cannot be and like even let's say that like whatever force comes in, like a physical force or regulatory force or anything like that, in order, and that just issue the order to stop, this network is unstoppable. So that's the goal for us, to build an unstoppable network, so decentralized network. And then on top of that, So on top of decentralizing the infrastructure, the base of what Metis is, we also decentralizing on organizational level. So there will be no, single person or single organization that you can, again, apply this such like force, either physical or regulatory or any other force into, and then kill the ecosystem. So this is also the vision of decentralizing on an organizational level, and that's why we are creating a system of econodes, which are in its turn are decentralized autonomous companies themselves. So right now we have emerging three econodes, which is Smart L2 econode. Another econode is Matrix RP reputation system, and this is for supplying all ecosystem with the reputation systems engines. And the third is DEC's tooling econode. So this is right now so it's kind of like Metis. We'll have these three major econodes. There will be more as well. So econode is a company, basically decentralized company, that is fulfilling one of the business goals of the Metis ecosystem, one of the business visions of the Metis ecosystem. So there are these three main ones that are right now. There will be more as well. And also there will be lots of common nodes. So we have eco nodes and we have common nodes. So these nodes is anyone can start their own and start contributing to the Metis ecosystem. And then in perspective, when the common node grows and become one of the fulfillers of one of the main business goals of vision of the ecosystem, it also becomes the eco node. So in all the econodes leadership is kind of will form one board of directors, which is going to be the Metis Foundation. And the Metis Foundation will be doing the governance of the whole ecosystem. So that's kind of like decentralizing Metis into multiple econodes will bring that decentralization to life, the organizational decentralization. And therefore, since we are no longer one organization, but actually the system of econodes, the CEO title become meaningless because I'm not executing like chief executive officer anymore, because there are others that are now fulfilling the goal. So all my role is to kind of oversee this decentralization process. And that decentralization coordinator title comes from. Just to make sure that we all decentralized all the way through, starting from the infrastructure decentralization and going into the whole organizational decentralization. All right, so I gave you lots and lots of information. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Elena. And you explained that very well about the change in your title and what that means, and it means a lot. And on the eco nodes that are starting to develop, it's really helpful to learn about and to know the direction that Metis is going to decentralize, not just its tech, but also its organizational management. And so it's really exciting to hear. And yeah, we'll open it up to others to chat. I see Apollo has had his hand up. Pass it over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right. First of all, thank you so much for holding these to their spaces. Thank you, Ali, Anthony, and Prince. And thank you, Mrs. Elena, for coming up today and for bringing Metis to life. Thank you so much, Mrs. Elena and the team, for constantly innovating Web3. Right now, Mrs. Elena just gave an entire crash course on Metis in just a few minutes, and it's simply incredible. We saw that Metis is constantly innovating, constantly bringing new stuff to Web3, and always over delivering and under promising. I mean, RPS Matrix just came out of nowhere and it's a huge innovation. My question is, how would you see Metis developing in the next year or years, and what's the main focus of Metis in the next year or years?
All right. So yes, our main focus, of course, to bring people that are not blockchain savvy, that are not in the space right now, to come and try this decentralized autonomous company structure, to utilize it in their businesses, to start the business, to fundraise the business, to get a feel of what it is to work with an within the unrestricted, open and fair environment in the business. Because in like let's I am an entrepreneur myself, and I worked, at least in Canada, building our own business, because there's so much restrictions that you have to go through, and there's more, like, so much, um, hurdles. Like, for example, opening a bank account, for the like getting a credit card, and even like doing a payroll. So you have to have so much, like, overhead costs, and like the governmental restrictions. So, and we would like to remove those and have people to start their own business in that, simple environment. So that is our goal, and that's why we emerged that EcoNode, the DAC tooling. So through that tooling, so we would like to bring lots of new people, new blood into the blockchain space, new entrepreneurs, new projects. So the blockchain space will get new people, and of course new business, new projects, and maybe these projects will not only be connected to DeFi, or there will be others as well. So that is the goal for us: just provide the tooling, the infrastructure, the possibility for people to enter the new world. That's one thing. As we're doing that on the business level, we also revolutionizing basically the infrastructure level on the layer two. As I said, that yes, we're building the decentralized system, but we also right now we just hired ZK researchers. So our Smart L2 will also be blended with the ZK rollups. And that is the idea. So we're doing innovations in that front as well. So to make a Smart L2 even smarter. So that's another thing that is going to be implemented, hopefully in the next year. That connected with the CKs. So these are the two goals that we are looking for. So how we accomplish it in the next year or in the next 3 years, of course, the time will show. But these are our goals right now, and we need your help. So you guys, the ambassadors here, we need your help in that, in carrying it, our vision, like the whole Metis vision, to the world, telling people about this, the possibilities, what is coming, about any new tools that we build at the time, to doing the meetups, the hackathons, the events, also coming with us to the events, helping us out with all the community and with the marketing, and that's we're relying on you for that.
Thank you so
Uh, well, thank you, Alina. You explained it so well. Prince, do you have a question, or can I go ahead?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear
Yes,
me?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Elena, for that. That was, like Apollo said, that was a crash course you gave on Metis about in just about a few minutes. All right. Quick one. This space is not just only filled with ambassadors, right? We have other Metis enthusiasts in the building. On the call. All right. Quick question. Now, I was going to say, like, I think there are people who might have actually have the thought and question of what is actually the core difference between DAOs and decentralized autonomous companies, which Metis is building. I think would like to hear the space would like to hear from you what exactly are the key functions. I mean, most people would think, like, I mean, it's almost similar to as the DAX, it's almost similar to DAOs. So what are like the key differences to note why people should use DAX and not DAOs?
Yeah. So thank you, Prince. Thank you for the question. A very good question. What is the difference between DAC and a DAO? So the DAO is the implementation, like one of the implementations of the DAC. So that's how I would answer. So it means that DAC, decentralized autonomous company, it is an entity with some kind of vision and the business goals uh, that that created to carry this vision, to bring this vision into life. So, like for example, if we're talking about DAO is more like a community, but this community also has a goal. And this is the community of people that are right now, as we know, the DAOs, it's a people that come in together and they are voting on some, proposals, also proposing, some tasks and fulfilling them, but it's all go towards some common goal. So that is just one of the implementation of the DAC. What could be other implementations of the DAC? Like, for example, I am a startup and I would like to start my own business and start getting my co-founders together towards that. But how do I for example, deal with this fairness, the splitting the equity? Like how do I do that? So like, yes, I have my goals, I have my business idea, and now I need to basically pay people that are working for my business. I know for the every business owner, it is so first they don't have funds, and in like being in the DAC, it actually gives them all the participants of that, giving that this fairness and assurance that they will get their own share. So there are mechanisms that can be implemented inside of DAC that actually fulfilling that. And also, like once you have a DAC, you can have your own fundraising. You can create like the tooling that we also, like at least even in the MVP we had, that you create your own token. You can do your own fundraising with the token towards going towards this business goal. And also you can hire people and they feel that they are all part of the same organizations. There are open environment. You can again, pay their salaries or divide their equity inside of DAC. So they're like, it's kind of like starting a business and running the business. So this is another uh, uh, implementation of the DAC. So DAO is the implementation of the DAC. The small business is the implementation of the DAC. Another example of the implementation of the DAC, for example, if we take the like Telegram channel, let's say. So right now we're using Telegram as a tool to, to text each other or to do the airdrops or in the Telegram community. Then it could be also formed as a DAC where each person has a wallet attached to it. And then we can see, like, for example, if there is a threshold for people to join in certain, Telegram community. So you can see clearly who has how many, tokens or certain funds in the wallet. So it's easy to control. And then like texting capabilities within the DAC, it's just providing the communication inside. So like, for example, Telegram channel can be a DAC as well as one of the implementations of the DAC. Then let's say that there is like a charity organization, and everyone who would like to contribute to that charity also can join that DAC. And all their contributions is also very transparent. And then the path that their contributions make is also transparent. So this is another implementation of the DAC. So it could be many, many, many of them. It's just the point is that you do it in an open and a fair environment. So I hope I
Right.
answered the question.
Yes,
Let me
yes,
know.
yes, you did. You did a great job actually. You did a great job. Quick one. I think one of I mean, when we talk of the concept of DAOs, we talk about the concept of where whales, like large governance token holders, get like a huge chunk of the share of voting. So can you quickly like break it down on how this is actually called in DACs, like decentralized autonomous companies, whereby whales don't get to decide, like get the whole the larger portion of the voting power, whereby everyone actually has an equal share in voting.
So that is something that we also would like for example, yeah, like you raised the question. So sometimes this, the voting inside of DAO is not fair because like large holders get right of a way, and that is right now, the reality in many. It is will depend on the like on those who start those, DACs, or let's say, like, the DAO as the just exact implementation of the DAC. So they can choose whatever setting, like for example, can choose the quadratic voting or some other kind of voting that is that will be the rule, the governance rule in this DAC. So that is going to be configurable, and they also can switch from one to another as they progress with their, with their goals, and as they go through the lifetime of this DAC. So that is it, like, at least this is how we imagined it, and this is how we build it as well. So what is actually needed, so we're going to be see on on the example. So once we have those, requirements, when we have those communities in a DAC, so we will see even better what is going to be the requirements. Yes, right now we all restricted in the tools, like the DAO tools, maybe not as perfect right now. So we would like to build them better.
All right, thank you very much, Miss Elena, for that. That was great, actually. For XCon, I think you wanted to say something.
Yes, Alina, thank you very much for giving us a course on Metis. I believe anyone who has joined this session would be much happy. I just want to ask you one thing. I have a single question. I think we have a very important event, upcoming event for Ether, as you know, the merge. I wanted to ask on behalf of our community how the merge will impact Metis, and secondly, I want to ask you about the sharding event as well. I know it is not going to happen anytime soon, and it will maybe take like 1 or 2 years. But the primary benefit of Metis right now is low transaction fee. You just mentioned that there is a grand vision as well, but for most of the people who are joining layer twos, the primary benefit has been the low transaction fee. What would happen to what impact would Metis feel after the sharding event? Because as per the Vitalik Buterin, if the sharding goes well, the transaction fees on Ether would be also down to a few cents.
Um, yeah, so there is probably a little bit of maybe miscommunication. So the transaction fees at Ethereum, even after all upgrades at ETH 2.0, they will fluctuate, and at times they will be high. So it's not going to like the sharding and the upgrade, the merge, it will not solve the transaction fee value. And it's still, like, by Ethereum Foundation, it is still recommended route to use layer 2s for the to optimize the transaction costs. So that is something that's it's been, you know at least to me, it was clear from the beginning, but maybe there is a confusion within the community that it's going to be very cheap transactions on Ethereum. It will not. They will not be. Uh, so that's number one. Second, there is also that in a layer two. So there are two types right now at layer two. Usually it's the optimistic rollups and the ZK rollups. So optimistic rollups are uh, awesome. They are EVM equivalent, EVM compatible, but they have this 7-day waiting period because of the fraud proofs. So this is something that we are addressing. So first of all, with the Ranger system, so the fraud proof window, but as well as I say that because we're going to go into the ZK also route, there will be an option for people to use the ZK, which has this 0 wait time for the withdrawal. So there is no 7 days delay for the ZK rollups. And that's something that we're building as well. So the users on the Metis layer 2 has this option to execute transactions, right away without um, the 7 day thing. And at the same time, being EVM equivalent for the dApps. So that is the kind of like the blend that we are working on right now to, so first of all, of course, to stay the fastest, the cheapest, but also like to remove that 7 day waiting window time. So that is one. And but your question was how the merge and like the also the sharding will affect Metis. So it's like operationally it will not affect. So it's gonna for our users it's all gonna be the same. The only thing is that the speed will increase. The transaction speed will increase. So that's how you see it probably on another end. So I hope I answered this question.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Lena, you answered it pretty well. I'm grateful to you. We all have been asking you so many questions one by one, and I think you need to take some rest as well. Maybe Mr.
Thank
Apollo
you.
or me. Yeah, yeah, I think because you've been talking, giving us a crash course for the past 20, 30, 30, 35 minutes. It's been, oh my God. This space has been so exciting. I actually forgot to take note of the time. If there is anyone else, Mr. Apollo or Anthony, if you have any questions. Oh, we have Mr. Yaroslav with us as well, the lead ambassador. We would like to welcome you, sir. You have been so kind and you're so helpful to all of us. Apollo, Anthony, can you please allow Apollo to speak up?
Yeah,
Apollo, you can fairly speak up.
yeah, he's able to speak. And then I just want to second the shout out to any others who are on here. Feel free to request to speak and ask any questions. Like Ali said, we don't want to, uh, Elena needs her rest too. She's doing a lot, and we're thankful that you've given us the time to speak with us today and put us on this huge crash course. And I know it could be kind of exhausting. But we want to invite others to speak or ask questions, even if it's not to Elena. Just to just speak would be cool as well. I see Elena, you took yours you mute off, but
You
oh,
know, I'm fine. You know, I'm not tired. You can ask guys because this is an opportunity. I know with my schedule, probably I will not be able to join every space. So
mhm.
every space that I join, please ask.
Awesome. Thank you, Elena. Um,
Right.
oh yeah, Ali. Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yes, Anthony, do you have something?
Yeah, I have a question, and then I'll pass it to Apollo. One question I have is, so you gave a really good detailed explanation of the decentralization of the Metis network, its technology and its operational management. Um, and I'm thinking like for people who want to come in to Web3 and Metis being the network that will bring in Web2 companies and users and community members into Web3 to create their own decentralized autonomous companies very simply and seamlessly. One of the big things I think that people have to also, I guess, come to understand or get familiar with is the democratization of business and DACs, and that just what Metis is doing, decentralizing its management and its technology, is kind of like a whole new like worldview and philosophical approach on how to run a business. And I think we come from a world where everything's so very centralized, and wealth is centralized, and power and decision making is very centralized, especially in like corporations and regular businesses. And so I think people had to come to grips with that businesses will be democratized in Web3, and that community members, contributors, users of the protocol or the DApp or the project will be also making decisions for the company. And so how do founders is there a plan or an idea or like an educational kind of campaign in the works to try to help people understand that a DAC is also a decentralization of educational DAC to help kind of bridge that gap of understanding between this, centralized world to this decentralized world where the community helps make decisions on business operations. So I don't know if there's anything on your end, Elena, about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yes, that's why first of all we created the ambassador program, because an ambassador is our educational arm. This is our way for communicating to people, and then of course we would like to educate our ambassadors, and that's why I'm here today, so you guys can hear like from the first hands all the vision and everything, so you can pass on to your communities as well. So this is one thing. Like second, we have the entire educational department inside of Metis, so we hired people already like a while ago, because education is a major part of what we're doing of the innovation. So we need to educate people, but what I can say that it's always driven by the the practical usage of the DACs. And we see the practical usage of DACs right now, even though nobody called them that. Every blockchain project, it is a DAC. It is a decentralized autonomous company. At least that's what it is right now. And as you see, these are companies are really like extreme. So first of all, they are like very fast growing. They are very successful, and there's a lot of interest from the people to actually use the products of these companies as well. So you are in the space, so all the projects in blockchain, they are on the forefront of the business right now. It's first of all, it's extremely easy to raise funds, which is always a barrier in a startup. So this is something that the blockchain project has been very successful about. And it's also very easy to run operations, even international operations, because they are not restricted by any jurisdictions, by any borders or anything. So because like for example in Metis we have uh, pretty much hired people pretty much from like anywhere in the world, and our ambassadors, I believe, they are from anywhere in the world as well. And though we can have the capability of running this multinational business, even being uh, by the traditional uh, measurements, a startup, right? So the DACs are already live. The DACs are already there. It just there's not enough tooling around it. There's nobody that build tools right now to run those businesses. And once we build those tools, it will be extremely easy to explain to people, because there are already live examples of those DACs. If you take, for example, like Arbitrum, Optimism and Metis, or any other business, Ethereum Foundation that exists there, they are DCs. So there are examples, so it will be easier to educate people and teach people just showing them these examples. So that is my question on, not only on educating people. Yes, of course, we will educate people, and there will be a major part of it, but also for you just to open your eyes to see, this DCs all around us already.
Awesome. Yeah, and there really is, and that's what Metis is providing is the tooling for these DAOs that are already DACs to actually operate as efficient DACs. So, thank you for that answer, and I'll pass it to Apollo, who has his hand up. And again, I encourage others who want to speak about anything or ask questions or whatever, please request to speak, and I'll let you on. But yeah, go ahead, Apollo.
Uh, oh, Apollo, are you here?
Oh yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, this is not exactly a question, but I would like Mrs. Elena to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that since 2018, again, I might be wrong, Metis initially was called the Token Economic Institute, and their goal was to facilitate complex collaborations. And right now, I'm not sure if DACs are exactly that, but to me, sounds like DACs are exactly on that vision. So this commitment to the vision of making complex collaborations possible is beautiful. And on that note, making them even easier for everybody to use, for anybody to use to create a business on Web3. I saw in the second half 2022 roadmap that Polish no-code middleware was mentioned. Mrs. Elena, can you touch a bit on what Polish is doing and how anybody that has no coding experience will be able to build a DAC, please?
Yes, thank you, Apollo, for that question. How is Polis going to be used? So first of all, so Polis is the tool. So because we're building the tools, so policy is the tool for the people to get on board. It's like on board what? On board, layer 2 or on board DAC. So this is kind of like authentication engine that brings you into the platform so you can actually do something in there. So that's what policy is, just kind of like a gateway into that. So right now, there are two mechanisms in there, so you can connect using your, MetaMask, which is very like people are very familiar with that, or other wallets. And also there is this um, authentication through email and password, and these are for the Web2 people who don't know anything about anything, and any private keys or anything like that. So that is something that Polis implements as well, just to lower the barrier, the entrance barrier for people that don't know. And this is like going along with our vision to onboard Web2 people into there. So, and Polis also, of course, it will be evolving. So what we had in mind before to implement the, and we did, to implement this no-code capability of building dApps inside of Polis. But right now we see, so maybe it has to be, like we have to probably separate those tools, and it's going to be the separate tool that doing that. And Polis will be doing just the authentication, just the gateway into the world, so that into the Metis world. So this is going to be the role of Polis. The no code capabilities are probably going to be implemented as a part of the DAC structure, so DAC tooling. And that's where once you create your own DAC, you can already kind of plug in. If you have ever used the WordPress, for example, there are like certain plugins in there. So you can use the plugins that already somebody else has developed to bring one or the other pieces of functionality into your DAC. So for example, create a token. This is something that is, you need to be a developer in order to create a token on the blockchain. With a certain supply, with a certain, measurements and attributes. But so this is going to be available as a one click of a button. So create a token, you use this plugin, you enter, you click the button, and voila, boom, your token has been created. So that is something like a no-code capabilities that is going to be existing in the Metis ecosystem. Where exactly they going to be placed yet? So right now we're planning them to be part of the DAC tooling, but it might change as well. So as I say, as we evolve, we can see more clearly, we can see the needs of the people more clearly, we get in feedback from the users, and we evolve we evolve like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. I just want to take this opportunity to basically, since you mentioned that about the grand vision of Metis, I would like to add something to this, and I would also like to ask you a question related to this, because I was actually talking to Mr. Aman, who's in the business development section of Metis, and I basically asked him why are we not, including projects like Step In or projects that are like pump and dump, because other ecosystems have done well with it. And he told me that Metis, as per the vision of Metis, we are very cautious about taking projects, and we don't consider pump and dump projects or Ponzi schemes. I just wanted to ask you, on behalf of my community, that how did you come to this understanding? Because a lot of other ecosystems have fared well with this approach.
Well, thank you, Ali. What I yeah again. So this is continuation. So how did we come up to the understanding that we would rather not to partner or support the pump and dump projects, even though other ecosystems did really well and maybe had a great business with them. Yes, so that also came from our internal, evolution and learning. So as I said, as we evolve, we are learning together. At the beginning of our journey, we would welcome every project with an open arms, right? Because we wanted to support everyone, and of course, we would meet them, and some of them don't have their videos on, because blockchain space is all protecting people's identity. Well, I mean, it's for a reason probably, but yes, nevertheless, we wanted to welcome all those projects. But what we encountered that if we, let's say, bring the project that doesn't have a strong business model, that is, can probably do really well at the beginning and especially in the bull market, but then can, burn really fast and just goes away. Or if it's, God forbid, if it's a scam project, then it's really, really not only hurting the ecosystem and hurting people in the ecosystem, because people that come and um, contribute money into this project or use this project services, and then end up in a loss, of course they get upset, right? And this is not only hurting our people, that is also taking a lot of the team time, because we are getting all the complaints from these people. So we, instead of building technology, we have to now deal with the complaints. And these complaints, is never ending, because scam or let's say pump and dump projects, they are affecting so many of those. So then we basically out of time of doing to realizing our vision, instead of we started dealing with the aftermath of those projects. And that's what we learned. It's just not worth it. Our time is something that we have the most precious. Money, we can always, earn. The money is not a problem. The time in our life, that's what we have a limited resource, is the time. And that's what is our most valuable resource. So by just investing a little bit of time studying the projects that we welcome into our ecosystem before, studying their business model, studying who these people are, where they came from, studying how they do it, like researching how they would do it in a bear market, because I have 100% understanding. If you cannot make money in a bear market, means that your project is a scam. So that is or like Ponzi scheme. So your project is a Ponzi scheme if you cannot make money in a bear market. So that is the definition of the Ponzi. So we would like to not spend time or waste time into these projects, even though they have a great potential, grow in the ecosystem in a short period of time. It's just not worth the price. It's not worth our precious time.
Well, Alina, you answered it perfectly. I think I should have worded my question properly, but you nailed it with your answer. That is basically what I was discussing with Aman earlier, when he said that we look for teams and we look for projects, and our vision is to build Metis during the bear market. And this is how real projects work. and that is why a lot of people have put faith in Metis and you. Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions from any other fellow ambassadors? Please feel free to ask. Mr. Zook is here. Zook, please.
Um, sorry,
Yes.
sorry. Thank you very much for that
Please.
forex coin. Before Zook goes on, I just want to add something. I When we talked about educating the community to help onboard more Web2 users into Web3, I just wanted to say that if you check up at the top of the space, I pinned the Metis Marathon community campaign. It's still ongoing where we invite um, everyone, content creator, everyone who is enthusiastic about the ecosystem to come, impact, pass value, educate the community. It's an incentive program where everyone gets to participate, and get to educate the community and also get to earn rewards from it. All right. So in case you're listening and you've been looking for ways, to participate, you should do check that out. And also just to also clear one thing, this is not just an ambassador only space. Yes, I get the name says open space with Metis ambassadors, but it's not just an ambassador space. It's generally for Metis enthusiasts. Let me put it that way. If you're enthusiastic about Metis, feel free. You've always had something in your mind about Metis which you like to share, you like to contribute, or you like to ask. I mean, this is the time. That is exactly why we created the space, not just for ambassadors to come and talk within ourselves or just bombard Miss Selena with the whole questions, right? It's actually meant to be an interactive session, right? So I've seen a couple people actually request the mic to come up to speak, and that is encouraging. So I'm just saying, if you have anything to ask, you have anything to contribute, you want to I don't know, say something, please feel free to request the mic. With that being said, I think ex Denzo came up first, like he requested the mic first. So I'm just going to let ex Denzo go on, and after that, Zook go on. All right, ex Denzo, please unmute your mic and speak.
Thank you. I just wanted to first thank Alina for taking the time to be here and to teach us about Metis. I really appreciate it, and it's very informative. I have two questions. The first one is simple. I just wanted to know how can one even apply to become an ambassador? And the second one is I know that earlier Elena was saying the goal is for companies to become a decentralized company, to like adopt the Web3 for their businesses. But I know, just like thinking about the typical companies out here, a lot of them don't even know about crypto or even know how to code or be a computer programming. So, like, how can we try to help convince these companies to really take that big leap of faith and to even want to become decentralized? I know earlier we're talking about like the blockchain coding and how simple it is, but is there like more ways that we can help convince these companies? Because I know like if they don't feel like convinced, then they won't even bother trying to do something that to them might sound like a whole totally new concept. And that was my question.
Thank you so
All
much,
right. Okay.
Exento. You have a, first of all, your English is so superb. I just enjoy it. I hope you ask more questions. So, and the answer to your question. So the question is, how do we convince companies to move to Web3 if they, never heard of it or never, or don't have the resources for it, or even, don't wish, don't want that. So my answer is we don't convince. So instead, we address their needs. So we see what they need, like all startups, for example, and the companies. So first of all, they need funding. So this is something, and they know the fundraising through blockchain, that it's easy. So this is the first checkbox we can check with them. So second, for they like the companies also looking to expand internationally. Majority of the companies without sacrificing the operations, because when you grow too fast too soon, you most likely fail. So in that, in the open Web3 environment, we provide exactly like that. So they can actually onboard people from different countries and lead business in the different countries, paying people within Web3 environment. environment without, implementing any, specific, bank accounts or payment systems or anything like that. So the payments are extremely easy on the blockchain. So this is another checkbox that check. So by checking this checkbox and building the proper tooling for it, this is the strategy of getting people in, because they only get in if we take away their pain. That's the only way. We cannot convince them, "Oh, come and get and use our DACs." It's never going to work. So what we did, we actually tried. We did the conference. There was a conference, for example, in Toronto that are related to startups. And we did the event, the Metis event for startups. And we kind of already like pre-boarded at least 20 companies that are already interested in using, the fundraising model and using the payments, the paying employees model, like, right off the bat, because this is something that they're looking for. So we already have companies that are sitting and waiting to onboard before we even build this tooling. And we cannot build this tooling before we actually talk to this company. So that is the strategy. Just address the pain points of those who you are target, and then they will come. They will not only, you don't need to convince them, but they can come running to you to use your tooling.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the answer. So to just to make sure I understand, we're trying to make it easy for them to kind of tailor the Web3 to their needs and to what they need
Yeah,
help with, so that it'll just be simple for them. It's just a click of a button and they're in.
exactly. So they don't need to know that they're on a Web3 or something like that. So, or if they need to know, so we ease that transition as much as possible, so they it will be transparent to them, and that is the goal. Yeah, of course, if you need to jump, through the hoops and remember your private keys, and if you lose it, then you're done. So this probably is not going to work. But yes, for on us, it's right now building the proper tooling that makes it easier and transparent.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, Denzo, I think your not I think actually your first question was about joining the ambassador program, right?
Yes.
All right. Currently there is no official invite, but then you can actually participate in the Metis Marathon community campaign, right? There is a high tendency, like if you create good content, you are impactful in the ecosystem, right? You can get an invite, special invite into the ambassador program. So I pinned this. I mean, you can check out the winner of the last week Metis content creation contest. I mean, this is actually an actually good way actually to get yourself your content your contribution to the ecosystem actually visible, and it's actually even stated in the official article, like if you make good stuff, you impact the community, you can actually get an invite. So currently this is the best way to go about it. I think you can scroll down through the Metis, the official Metis page. Down you should see the article concerning all you need to know, but this is just a summary of that you know of which you need to know. All right, I hope that answers your question. All right, cool, cool. I see your reaction.
I,
All
I,
right,
I probably can take one more question, and just I need to jump because we have the grants meeting, and grants are very important in our ecosystem. So we need to discuss to see who actually will be getting the grants. So yes, one more question, and I see Zoop has the hand for a while. So please, Zoop, can you your question or whatever that you wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you first of all for the community members and the Messi ambassadors for running this space. It's been great so far. My question for you, Alina, is how do you envision the Matrix platform evolving in the future around all of Metis or even EVM chains?
Yes, very good question. So first of all, the Matrix platform was designed so it can provide this, the tokenization of reputation power tokens to any ecosystem in the space. So that is also pending right now. So we have the whole team that is working, the whole eco node that is working on this, the strategy of expanding it. But why did we, even created this, reputation system contest? Again, to help the Web2 world, to check one of the boxes in the Web2 world, because for the people, when they work in the companies, their achievements and sometimes goes unnoticed. So, and that mechanism of rewarding people with the achievements and doing it maybe through automated process after they completed certain tasks, that is something that probably going to be going well with the career development in the companies, inside businesses, and actually for the employee retention as well. If they, people feel appreciated, they will stay longer as well. And that's, reputation power, like, reputation badges is something that makes people, feel appreciated, special in a sense. So, and that's why we created. So the vision is actually not to distribute those tokens in the Web3 world, or it is actually for the Web2 world that we created them. But funny enough, in the Web3 world, it's also starting. So we see that, for example, the success of POPs. I remember when Patricio just started, we're going together on the conferences, he traveled just alone, just one man team. Like, nobody even understood what is that, right? So now, like 5 years later, it is like everybody wants a pop. Like, you go to event, you want to pop because there are certain benefits. So yes, so there will be some strategies that are encouraging probably projects, or even within the Metis ecosystem, to have people like kind of like to provide the evaluation on the project's progress, or evaluation on the people projects, by them receiving these badges, and just going slowly, one step at a time, to see where these reputation power badges are the most useful. So that is the strategy that we're going. So we don't have the goals to have all those tokens, pollinate the whole ecosystems around the Web3. This is not the goal. This is actually was created with the goal to bring a checkbox for the Web2 world to ease the business. I hope I answer your questions. Let me know if this is satisfactory answer.
Yep, that was a great answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I would like to thank everyone. So I have to thank so Anthony, Prince, Ali. Thank you so much for, and Apollo, thank you so much for uh, inviting me to this space. And I would like to thank all of you guys who are ambassadors, and you maybe like future ambassadors for Metis. This is so awesome that we're working together. We're at the very start, basically, and having you right now at this space is warms my heart a lot. So thank you so much, and we do great things together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alina. It was such a pleasure to have you with us, and we are really honored that you joined us in our second space. I think a lot of us have learned so much today, and we only have you to thank you for this. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to work at Metis. Just 2 months back, I was looking for a position in Web3, and somehow I got in touch with you, and then I was able to get into the ambassador program later on. Thank you so much for being the guiding light for all of us. Anthony and Prince, please continue.
Yeah, no, I just want to second that appreciation, and thank you for being here, Elena, and for being the guiding light of the Metis ecosystem. And we're here, the ambassadors are here to support and help build up. We have a long road ahead of us, and we're ready to build it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. See you soon.
Bye. And I guess that'll close us off. And I want to thank everybody for being here. This was a really special day to have Elena, who's the now the title her title is decentralization coordinator, and is working in the Metis Foundation EcoNode to help decentralize and manage the development of the Metis ecosystem as it begins to decentralize. Prince Ali, I don't know if you wanted to say anything. I seen y'all come off mute.
I think we
Um,
had a really dope session today. I think Prince would agree to this. The presence of Alina really lit things up, and I really enjoyed the session. And I tried to ask her as much questions possible. The community, thank you very much for being with us today. We really need your support. And as you have heard from Alina herself, Metis is gearing up for big things, and we would love to have you with us during this amazing journey. Prince, please, if you have to say something, otherwise, I'm done. Thank you.
all right. I think Antonia and Ali has said almost everything. I don't see any need to further delay the space. I think we asked almost all questions towards Miss Elena. So as I would always say, it's open. Like the space is open. The community is always open. You don't look at the name Metis ambassadors. I mean, if you're Metis enthusiast, official like unofficially you're an ambassador. It's just the tag that differentiates us, right? We're all just trying to grow the Metis ecosystem. I would say keep tab on developments going on in Metis. A lot of great stuff coming in, a lot of developments in the works. I mean, rounding up Q3 and entering Q4, a lot of stuffs to come out. So do check out the roadmap and all. And also, I'm just going to highlight about the Metis ongoing Metis marathon, the builders campaign and the community campaign. If there's anyone you can participate in, do well to participate. I mean, great reward, a lot of stuff to learn about. Also community to be part of. I mean, if anyone is going to be successful, I mean, your entire Web3 journey, crypto journey, if you're going to go far in the crypto Web3 space, I mean, community is always very key. So, and the Metis community is always open. We're always open to builders, whatever you can offer, content, education, development. The community is always open. All right. In that note, I think we might just have to close here. I don't know if Anthony has anything to say to add to that.
No, I think that's all. Thanks, Prince. Thanks, Ali. Thanks, Apollo. Thanks, ex Denzo. Thanks, Zook, and everybody else who joined and or asked questions and was here to listen. This will also be in recording, so you can share it and listen to it later or share it with others. So thank you all for being here. We'll be back next week. We're thinking about possibly changing the day of this, but for right now, we're scheduled for next Thursday at 5 p.m. Universal Time. And see y'all. Thank you. Have a good weekend.